Live from New Delhi, you're watching DD India Live, India's voice to the world. I'm Preeti Kaur. Coming up in the next 30 minutes. In Nepal, Army extends nationwide curfew, issues prohibitory orders. Kathmandu Airport opens after temporary closure. Poland downs Russian drones after unprecedented airspace violation. NATO chief Mark Rutte terms Russian violation of Polish airspace absolutely reckless. EU chief von der Leyen reiterates Europe's commitment to stand in full solidarity with Poland. And in sports, India begins Asia Cup campaign against hosts UAE in Dubai today. After days of violent anti-government protests in Nepal, the Nepalese army took charge of the security in the country. Soldiers patrolled the streets of Kathmandu on Wednesday amid indefinite curfew in Nepal's capital following deadly anti-graft protests that prompted Prime Minister KP Sharma Oli to resign. The worst upheaval in decades in Nepal was sparked by a social media ban unveiled last week, but rolled back after 19 persons died on Monday as police fired tear gas and rubber bullets to control the crowd. No protests were reported in the capital, but about 26 people trying to create trouble on the outskirts of Kathmandu have already been taken into custody. Following hours of violent protests in Kathmandu and other parts of the country, the Nepalese army has also taken over the security operations. The army has appealed for public cooperation, calling upon citizens to inform them once miscreants target public and personal property and damage historical, social, cultural and religious places. Also considering reports of vandalism and arson in some places due to infiltration by anarchic persons and groups, and anticipating further possibility of such incidents, the army issued a prohibitory order till 5 p.m. local time today, while the curfew would be enforced till 6 a.m. Thursday. The Nepalese army had also requested protesters to return weapons and ammunition looted during protests to the security personnel. In another news, a large number of prisoners have escaped from various jails across Nepal. In Bharatpur, prisoners set the prison on fire and fled, although the exact number of prisoners who escaped is unclear. Most of over 700 prisoners are likely to have fled. In Myagri, 76 out of 88 inmates escaped from the district jail, while 36 prisoners fled from the district jail in Jumla, following which the district administration office has issued a curfew order. 327 prisoners escaped from Tanahun prison amid escalating Gen Z movement when various government offices in the capital, Damoli, were being vandalized and set ablaze. In a separate incident on Tuesday night, 5 juveniles were killed and 4 others were severely injured in a clash with the security personnel at the Nobasta Children's Correctional Home in Banke. However, nearly 80 juvenile detainees have managed to escape. Meanwhile, Kathmandu Airport has opened after remaining temporarily closed following the situation in Nepal. Earlier, the army took control of the Tribhuvan International Airport and flight operations were temporarily suspended. Now passengers will be able to fly back as and when they desire to do so. Meanwhile, borders districts of Uttar Pradesh and Uttarakhand have been put on high alert and security across all border posts and vulnerable points has been beefed up. High alert has been sounded in Uttar Pradesh's 7 districts bordering Nepal, including Maharajganj, Siddharthnagar and Lakhimpur Kheri. Additional forces had been deployed to border police stations. Intelligence agencies have also been directed to maintain close watch. Intensified patrolling is also being undertaken on highways, village tracks and forest routes connecting the two countries. Prime Minister Narendra Modi today reaffirmed the strength of India-US relations and expressed confidence in the ongoing trade negotiations between the two nations. Prime Minister Modi said that both the nations will work together to secure a brighter, more prosperous future for both our people. Responding to a post by President of the US on X, Prime Minister Modi said, and I quote, "India and the US are close friends and natural partners. I am confident that our trade negotiations will pave the way for unlocking the limitless potential of the India-US partnership. Our teams are working to conclude these discussions at the earliest. I am also looking forward to speaking with President Trump. We will work together to secure a brighter, more prosperous future for both our people." Just hours after Prime Minister Modi posted on X, US President Donald Trump reposted the comments made by Prime Minister Modi on Truth Social. Earlier on social media platform Truth Social, Trump had said that India and the US will continue negotiations to address the trade barriers. In a social media post, he said, and I quote him, "I am pleased to announce that India and the United States of America are continuing negotiations to address the trade barriers between our two nations. I look forward to speaking with my very good friend Prime Minister Modi. In the upcoming weeks, I feel certain that there will be no difficulty in coming to a successful conclusion for both of our great countries." Cabinet on Wednesday approved 4-lane access control Mokhama-Munger section of the Buxar-Bhagalpur high-speed corridor in Bihar. The project will induce additional employment opportunities with increased economic activity in the vicinity of the proposed corridor.
बक्सर से भागलपुर जो कॉरिडोर है उस कॉरिडोर का सेक्शन है, इसका इन्वेस्टमेंट होगा 4,447 करोड़। आज जो अप्रूव हुआ है ये मोकामा से मुंगेर तक का सेक्शन 82 किलोमीटर्स। ओवरऑल जो टाइम बचेगा करीब 1 घंटे का ट्रैवल टाइम बचेगा इस प्रोजेक्ट के कारण।
The cabinet also approved doubling of Bhagalpur-Dumka-Rampurhat single railway line at a total cost of 3,169 crore rupees. The enhanced line capacity will improve mobility, providing enhanced efficiency and service reliability for Indian Railways.
अभी जो मैक्सिमम ट्रेन्स जाती हैं वो भागलपुर से मालदा टाउन होते हुए रामपुरहाट नीचे की तरफ हावड़ा की तरफ जाती है। इस डबलिंग के बाद में भागलपुर से दुमका और उससे सीधा रामपुरहाट की तरफ गाड़ियाँ काफ़ी जा सकेगी, काफ़ी पैसेंजर गाड़ियाँ, मेल, एक्सप्रेस, कई गाड़ियाँ इससे जा सकेगी। और बहुत बड़े जो तीर्थ स्थल है देवघर, उस धाम को भी जोड़ता है ये, और एक तरीके से साउथ बिहार को जो बड़ी कनेक्टिविटी चाहिए होती है टुवर्ड्स कलकत्ता, टुवर्ड्स साउथ, वो कनेक्टिविटी इस प्रोजेक्ट से मिलती है।
Poland has condemned multiple violations of its airspace during a Russian attack on Ukraine, calling it an act of aggression. Poland's military claimed it spotted and shot down several drone-type objects that repeatedly violated Polish airspace during Russia's attack on Ukraine. The ministry said radars tracked more than 10 objects and those that could pose a threat were neutralized. Polish Prime Minister Donald Tusk said that NATO command has been briefed on the situation while calling drone incursion a major provocation aimed at the EU and NATO member.
Dzisiaj w nocy doszło do naruszenia przestrzeni powietrznej.
Tonight, a large number of Russian drones violated Polish airspace. Those drones, which posed a direct threat, were shot down. This is the first time Russian drones have been shot down over the territory of a NATO country. Therefore, all our allies are taking the situation very seriously. We have not recorded any casualties.
Jesteśmy w konsultacjach z naszymi sojusznikami. Jestem w stałym kontakcie.
Meanwhile, operations at airports in Warsaw, Modlin and Rizal have restored, while the airport in Lublin remains temporarily closed. The airports were earlier closed due to military action. Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky claimed that at least 8 drones targeted Poland during Russian attack. Terming the incident a dangerous precedent for Europe, Zelensky called for a strong response from its allies. Further, Zelensky stated that Russia launched over 400 drones and 40 missiles at Ukraine overnight, leaving at least one person dead in Zhytomyr region. The Kremlin on Wednesday declined to comment on Poland's statement that it had shot down Russian drones in Polish airspace, saying this was a matter for the Defense Ministry. Asked about the drones and Polish Prime Minister Donald Tusk's remarks, Kremlin spokesperson Dmitry Peskov declined to comment on the matter, saying it is the prerogative of the Defense Ministry. Peskov said that the Kremlin had not received any requests for contact from Poland, but dismissed European Union and NATO accusations that Russia had carried out a provocation. The Defense Ministry has so far not commented on the drone incident in Poland. NATO Secretary General Mark Rutte addressed the media on Russian drones violating the airspace of Poland. Calling the Russian violation absolutely reckless, the NATO chief added that a complete assessment of the incident is underway. He further added that his message to Putin is very clear. Meanwhile, Moscow denied responsibility for the incident.
Last night, numerous drones from Russia violated Polish airspace. Our air defenses were activated and successfully ensured the defense of NATO territory, as they are designed to do. Allies expressed solidarity with Poland and denounced Russia's reckless behavior. A full assessment of the incident is ongoing. What is clear is that the violation last night is not an isolated incident.
European Union Chief Ursula von der Leyen, during her State of the Union speech to the European Parliament in Strasbourg, slammed Russia for reckless and unprecedented violation of Polish airspace. The EU chief has reiterated Europe's commitment to stand in full solidarity with Poland.
We have seen a reckless and unprecedented violation of Poland and Europe's airspace by more than 10 Russian Shahid drones. Europe stands in full solidarity with Poland.
The European Commission President also said that the Commission will propose sanctioning extremist Israeli ministers and a partial suspension of the European Union's association agreement with Israel.
And this is why I will propose a package of measures to carve out a way forward. First, the Commission will do all that it can do on its own. We will put our bilateral support to Israel on hold. We will stop all payments in these areas without affecting our work with Israeli civil society or Yad Vashem. Second, we will make 2 further proposals to the Council. We will propose sanctions on the extremist ministers and on violent settlers. And we will also propose a partial suspension of the association agreement on trade-related matters.
Iran and the UN nuclear watchdog, International Atomic Energy Agency, reached a deal on resuming inspections at nuclear sites, including those bombed by the US and Israel in June. The agreement was signed in Cairo by Iranian Foreign Minister Abbas Araghchi and IAEA Chief Rafael Grossi. It was Iran's first high-level meeting with the IAEA since it suspended cooperation with the agency following the 12-day conflict with Israel in June, which saw Israeli and US strikes on Iranian nuclear facilities. IAEA Chief Grossi described the agreement as an important step in the right direction.
And yesterday, in Cairo, an important step in the right direction was taken with the agreement on practical modalities for the implementation of safeguards in Iran, signed by me and His Excellency, the Foreign Minister of Iran, Dr. Abbas Araghchi. It was encouraging for us to see Iran's declared willingness not to leave the NPT and to continue working inside the international non-proliferation regime.
Iranian Foreign Minister, however, earlier warned that any move to reimpose UN sanctions would halt the practical steps set out in the deal.
I shall stress that in case of any hostile act against my country, and in the event of the reimposition of terminated United Nations Security Council resolutions, Iran will regard these practical steps as terminated.
You're watching DD India Live. We're heading for a short break, but after the break, Sébastien Lecornu takes over as France's 5th Prime Minister on a day the country is engulfed with nationwide block everything protests. Fitch raises India's growth forecast to 6.9% after a strong second quarter driven by robust services activity and resilient consumption.
This week on Defense Dynamics, from choke points to commands, the Indo-Pacific is on the edge. India and Singapore forge the Indo-Pacific shield. Can deterrence hold at sea lanes? GST 2.0, when tax reforms fuels combat readiness. China's Dragon Parade dazzles with power. What lies beneath the camouflage paint? And India's theatre commands are not an option but a necessity. Catch it all on Defense Dynamics this Wednesday at 8 p.m. only on DD India.
Welcome back after the break. You're watching DD India Live. Sébastien Lecornu, the loyalist picked by French President Emmanuel Macron, has taken over as the country's 5th Prime Minister. Macron named Lecornu as the new Prime Minister on Tuesday, a day after his last Prime Minister, François Bayrou, was ousted in a parliamentary confidence vote over his efforts to cut public spending. However, Macron's office said that the president had asked Lecornu to hold talks with all the political forces in Parliament to find compromises on the budget and other policies before naming his cabinet. The news of his appointment was greeted with derision by leftist parties who called for voters to express their disdain in nationwide block everything protests on Wednesday. French President Macron did not take long to name a new Prime Minister, but along with it, France seems to be heading into a renewed period of unrest. With frustration over austerity plans boiling over, the grassroots groups have called for a nationwide block everything movement on Wednesday that aims to paralyze transport, schools and daily life. Nearly 200 protesters were arrested across the country. Political parties and unions have expressed their disbelief and discontent on social media. Numerous users demanded that the French leader dissolve the National Assembly and call snap elections. In tough economic times, Germany needs to cut spending by billions. One focus is the country's complex welfare system. Chancellor Friedrich Merz is pushing for a tougher approach, especially to unemployment benefits. That is causing tension within his coalition government. For more on this, we're joined in by DW correspondent Hans Brandt in Berlin. Hans, hi, good afternoon. Germany is one of the richest countries in the world. Can it really no longer afford offering all those social benefits?
The short answer is yes, it can no longer afford those benefits. Germany is struggling economically at the moment. The economy is just coming out of recession. There are troubling economic relations to the United States. There are troubling economic relations to China. World markets are very unpredictable. And as a result, tax income for the German government is being reduced. So cuts have to be made across the budget, while at the same time expenses on matters such as defense, for instance, with the current aggression by Russia against Ukraine and threats within Europe, that spending has to be increased, so cuts have to be made across the budget. And in the end, it will be unavoidable for Germany also to take some cuts in its social security spending.
On the other hand, also, Chancellor Merz has said that major cuts in unemployment payments are possible. His coalition partners, the Social Democrats, probably disagree, don't they?
Yes, indeed. That is one of the major points of contention between these rather difficult coalition partners. Friedrich Merz is from the Conservatives. The Conservatives would normally say that there are too many people taking unemployment benefits so that they don't have to work and basically living off the state, while the Social Democrats feel that these people are the most vulnerable people in society and also their voters, and that they should continue to be given support if they cannot find work or if they are unable to work for some reason or another. So this is something about which this unequal coalition will be spending a lot of time fighting, a lot of dispute, but in the end I think some cuts will have to be made to unemployment benefits. Whether they're going to make such a big difference, I think that's a question that remains open.
All right, Hans, also what about other benefits such as state pensions? Surely much more money could be found there, isn't it?
Yes, indeed. The pension systems accounts for hundreds of billions of spending in German government spending. The result is it's a result of an imbalance in the pension system. Normally, a pension system is set up because a lot of young people work and pay into the system, and fewer old people are retired and take money out of the system. But that balance is being lost in Germany and many other industrialized countries because there are fewer people in work and a lot more people that are taking pensions that are older and need to be supported in their old age. But that's an imbalance that causes a lot of upset amongst many voters. It's something that most governments are very reticent to touch, would like not to cause dissatisfaction amongst their voters. And I think in the end, this government is also not going to touch the pension system.
All right, we leave it here. Thank you so much, Hans Brandt, for joining us. And back home, Fitch Ratings has raised its forecast for India's economic growth for the current fiscal to 6.9% from 6.5% earlier, citing stronger than expected momentum in the June quarter, driven by robust service activity and also resilient consumption. India's real GDP grew 7.8% year-on-year in the April to June quarter, accelerating from 7.4% in the previous 3 months and beating Fitch's projection of 6.7%. Domestic demand remains the key growth driver, supported by strong real income dynamics and looser financial conditions as per the Fitch Ratings. The agency expects growth to moderate in the second half of the fiscal year and slow down to 6.3% and 6.2% in the next 2 fiscal years. Fitch also flagged the narrowing gap between nominal and real GDP growth and said real GDP may be overstated due to weak wholesale and commodity prices, which could reverse if price pressures return. In a joint operation conducted by Delhi Police Special Cell, Jharkhand Anti-Terrorist Squad and Ranchi Police, an ISS suspect was arrested. The suspect has been identified as Azhar Danish and is a native of Bokaro district. He was arrested from the Kakatoli Islam Nagar of Ranchi. Upon the search, chemicals, ammunition and other weapons were recovered from him. The operation is a part of nationwide raids and arrests by various special cells and ATS agencies. Global Conference and International Exhibition of Aluminium Extruded Products, that is Alumex India 2025, began from Wednesday in New Delhi. Lok Sabha Speaker Om Birla inaugurated the event and delivered his address on the occasion. Organized by Aluminium Extrusion Manufacturers Association of India, the event will focus on latest technology and innovation of the aluminium industry. Traders and experts associated with the aluminium manufacturing industry are participating in this conference. India will start their Asia Cup campaign against hosts United Arab Emirates in Dubai on Wednesday. With a powerful squad blending youth and experience, India will hope to begin on a high, while the UAE, backed by home support, will aim to secure a huge upset. Here's a report.
The stage is set for India's opening match of the Asia Cup 2025. Surya Kumar Yadav's men face host UAE under the lights at the Dubai International Cricket Stadium on Wednesday. India comes into this contest as favourites. Abhishek Sharma and Gill are expected to open, followed by skipper Surya Kumar Yadav, Tilak Verma and Rinku in the middle order. While Jitesh Sharma and Sanju Samson are set to take the wicket-keeping gloves, all-rounders Hardik Pandya, Shivam Dubey and Akshar Patel add both depth and firepower. The pace attack will be spearheaded by Jasprit Bumrah, supported by Arshdeep Singh and Harshit Rana, with Varun and Kuldeep Yadav spin. This fixture is also important for India in terms of preparation. With the crucial clash against Pakistan lined up on September 14th, the UAE contest serves as an opportunity to experiment with combinations and strategy. India's rich Asia Cup history further strengthens their case, having lifted the trophy 8 times The men in blue will look to carry that dominance forward, but the UAE cannot be taken lightly. The two sides have met only once in T20 internationals in 2016, when India sealed a comfortable win. Since then, UAE has grown significantly. The hosts have won 20 of their last 27 T20 internationals, most of them in multi-nation tournaments. That record underlines their ability to perform under pressure, and against a powerhouse like India, they will look to make a statement. With crowd support expected for both sides, the atmosphere at the Dubai International Stadium promises to be electric. For India, the challenge will be to start strong and fine-tune their rhythm. For the UAE, it's an opportunity to test themselves against the world-class opposition and showcase their progress on the big stage. Sports Desk, DD India.
With this, we end this edition of DD India Live, but let us know your thoughts on the news of the day. For those of you on the go, you can get all the latest news and updates from India and across the world on the DD India mobile app. And this app is available on both Android and iOS platforms, and you can download the respective QR codes. We'll be back with more news as it breaks here on DD India. I'm Preeti Kaur signing off, and from all of us here in Delhi, thanks for watching DD India Live.